Doctor's appointment with the University of Utah Orthoscopic Center with Dr. Burke. I have had several surgeries over the past 3 years on my shoulders, the last being July the 12th. I gave Mrs. Lee my cell number and requested her to call me when the meeting convened, expecting to be finished with my appointment. At 7:54 a.m. local time, I texted Mrs. Lee and informed her I was still with my doctor and to call me after public comment. My doctor was concerned over my progress and wanted additional x-rays. At 8:14 a.m., I was notified the meeting was over. Now, I feel that a person's personal health or his or her family should be top priority, and I would certainly hope that our future council person feels the same way as should everyone in that room. It was totally unfair to make the comment about my absence without knowing the circumstances or facts, and it was totally biased. September 26th, today's meeting. As you are aware, I am present via telephone, which is allowed and encouraged under Nevada's open meeting law. You cannot physically be in attendance. I am presently in Reno, working the Pony Express Territory booth at the 25th Annual Street Vibration event, promoting travel and visitation to all the communities across Highway 50. I wrote the grant for the show, combined with the Portside RV show, and can continue to work and administer all the grants that I write. When asked by Councilman Allworth if I could work with the Tourism and Recreation Board during my interview, I responded, which was left out of the article, that yes, and that I had continued to stay involved with the Pony Express Territory, the Nevada Division of Tourism, the Grand Circle Association as president, and the Silver State Classic Challenge Organization as a board member. I have continued to spend many hours and personal resources to support our community and our area. The City of View residents and taxpayers deserve and will receive my focus and commitment to work for and improve our community, county, and state. There should be as much energy and enthusiasm used to ensure that happens for everyone as there was to discredit me without knowing the facts as was portrayed and shared at 80 Times Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. As for my report, I was also at League of Cities this week with the clerk. There was a lot of good information there, and I did take the tour with Councilman Allworth at the Grow facility. Been working with the attorney on these issues that we've been talking about this week and how appointments work, and that's all I have to report at the moment. So with that, we'll move on to item 6. Items for discussion, possible action only of the Ely City Council. Number 1, Mayor Robertson, discussion for possible action, acceptance of Sam Hansen's resignation as a member of the Ely City Council, seat 5. I will entertain a motion on this item.
I will move to approve. Second.
Any further discussion on this? You guys have all read his letter, I assume. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 2, Mayor Robertson, discussion for possible action, election to fill Ely City Council seat 5. Nominees for seat are only Michelle Beecher. And that was my nomination. As I stated in the last meeting where this happened, we are doing this in accordance with NRS 266 and with counsel with our attorney on how this is done. I know it's been done differently in the past. I know people have feelings on how it should be done. But I think we're safest doing it how the NRS prescribes we do it. So with that, I will entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make that motion to appoint the election of Michelle Beecher to seat 5.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Carried and so ordered. So with that, we'll move on to item 7, swearing in newly appointed officer by city clerk. Number 1, council member seat 5, term pursuant to the passage of Assembly Bill number 50 until city elections are held in November 2022. Michelle, if you're here, could you come up?
Okay. I, Michelle Beecher, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States and the Constitution and the government of the state of Nevada against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign, and I will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same, any ordinance, resolution, or law of any state notwithstanding, and I will well and faithfully perform all the duties as a member of the City Council, of the Ely City Council, Seat 5, on which I am about to enter, so help me God.
We'll move on to item 9 here. The mayor will recess the regular city council meeting for a public hearing at 5:30 p.m. on the following topics. Number 1, Chairman Peeler, public hearing, discussion only, consideration of a proposed petition for a vacation or abandonment of road or easement. The proposed property abandonment is half of alleyway to the west of 1083 Canyon Street, Ely, Nevada, APN 001-342-03, and 4th Avenue south of the property. The petitioners are Daniel B. Daughtry and Susan P. Gray. I will entertain a motion on this item.
Do we have a recommendation of the planning commission?
Mr. Mayor, the planning commission recommends approval of this item.
What was your question, ma'am?
I
Okay.
wanted that heard in the record.
Was there a comment on the phone?
Yeah, I think it's a discussion only item.
That's right.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm burning through these things. With that, is there any further discussion on this item from the public?
Did we get public comment?
On this item, yes.
I want that.
Gary Pintar, 1417 Mill Street. I'd love to talk about the abandonments that pertain to anything near Cannon Street, or as you call it, Canyon Street. I don't know these people. I've been up to see that property. I absolutely believe that the council should recommend abandoning that because what's behind there is a mountain and it's immovable and there's no practical purpose to keep that as it is. So I would advocate that the board please allow that abandonment to pass through. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Any other discussion from the public on this item? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 2, Chairman Peeler. Public hearing, discussion only, consideration of a proposed variance application. The applicant, White Pine County, desires to construct a multi-story justice center, which will exceed the allowed 35 maximum height limitation. The property address is 1785 Great Basin Boulevard, Ely, Nevada, APN-002-280-15. Is there any public comment or discussion on this item?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Elizabeth Francis. I'm the Finance Director with White Pine County, and I'm here to request your support of this variance. This is a very important public safety infrastructure project that will benefit all citizens of White Pine County. The report and findings of facts show that it is compatible with its surrounding use, that it is compliant with regulations, that there's no additional impact from current use on neighboring properties, that emergency services will have no adverse effect, and the Building and Planning Department recommended approval, as well as the Sheriff's Department. So I'm just here to say that this is a very important project, and we hope, White Pine County hopes for your support in this request for a variance to move this project forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Francis. How was the recommendation of the Planning Commission on this item?
It was unanimous.
Thank you. With that, we'll close the public. George.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not against this passage, but the fees, hookup fees have not been paid. City policy has always been you pay the fees up front, then you're given consideration. That's not being done. Again, we either have rules and regulations or we don't. They made need to pay the fees up front first, just like anybody else. That's not being done. Your building inspector's not doing his job. You need to address that. Those that can't do their job have got to go. We've got enough problems in this community. Either we have procedures or we don't. If you don't like what you have in place now, change it, but change it for everybody. Don't throw roadblocks in for some and look the other way for others. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on that item. And then we'll revisit 8 items for discussion, possible action only of the Ely City Council, Mayor Council members, discussion for possible action, election of 1 City Council member to serve as Mayor Pro Tem per City Code 1-5-3.
I would like to nominate Michelle Beecher for Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion on that item the council would like to have? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. We'll move on to 10, discussion possible action, items pertaining to the public hearing. Chairman Peeler, discussion for possible action, consideration of a proposed petition for a vacation or abandonment of road easement. The proposed property abandonment is half of alleyway to the west of 1083 Canyon Street, Ely, Nevada, APN 001-342-03, and 4th Avenue south of the property. The petitioners are Daniel D. Daughtry and Susan P. Gray. I will entertain a motion on this item now.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Item 2, Chairman Peeler, discussion for possible action, consideration of a proposed variance application. The applicant, White Pine County, desires to construct a multi-story justice center which will exceed the allowed 35-foot maximum height limitation. The property address is 1785 Great Basin Boulevard, Ely, Nevada, APN 002-280-15. I will entertain a motion on this item.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? I think I speak for the city, Elizabeth, if you're here, that we do, in fact, throw our support behind this project. We're excited to have it happen finally. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. We'll move on to item 11, discussion, items for discussion, possible action of the Ely City Council as recommended by the City Planning Commission. Chairman Peeler, Gregory D. Rivero, PLS WRS, discussion for possible action, approval of parcel map for property located at 1400 East 13th Street, APN 002-271-11, Ely, Nevada, owned by Durbridge Family Trust. Excuse me.
Hello, Gregory Rivero, Solaris Land Surveying, 1040 Mill Street. I'm representing the Durbridge Family Trust, and this is a map to divide one parcel into 2 lots, which one lot will be donated to the Ely Learning Grid Charter School. I want to address Mr. Chach's comment on the driveway. This map has nothing to do with the driveway. The driveway is all done with improvement plans, which is submitted by a civil engineer and approved by the city. So, but this map is just to create 2 parcels.
Are there any questions of Greg while we have him here? There's a road on there, though, that is 50 foot wide that I noticed. Is that?
That is a easement on the east side,
Okay.
a roadway easement. The public right-of-way is on M Street and on 13th.
How did the Planning Commission?
They
They will report.
recommend.
Any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions on this? All in favor? Any opposed? Sorry, I keep meaning to pause for you there. Okay, thanks. Carried and so ordered. We'll move on to item 2. Commission members, Councilman Allworth, discussion only, consideration to allow designated mobile home parks within the city of Ely to have RV trailers parked within their confines during the construction phase of the NDOT highway project.
I would like to disclose that my father, Keith Carson, does have a mobile home park down in central Ely, and I would like to abstain from this.
Councilman Carson will be abstaining from the discussion. Jim, do you want to
Okay.
give us an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As noticed, it's discussion only. With the influx of construction coming to our area, I feel we need to figure out a way to manage, get as many people to stay within our city limits. And there's ordinances that prohibit you to have a mobile home park, put RVs in there. And I would like, once again, consideration just for the discussion to work out the plans that we can do this. And I have a vision that these mobile home parks, only the ones that want to participate. If you have a mobile home park and you do not want to have RVs, fifth wheels in there, that's your call. I would, with my vision, once again, you come in, you turn it into the city. Here's a list of our covenants, but they have to follow, like for example, no pets, your trailer's got to be skirted, follow almost all the city codes and manufactured housing to make it amenable to the people living in the same area. And they would, they have to fully understand this is just during the construction phase. For example, it was mentioned earlier tonight and this morning, right now, Core Engineering is going to come in, and I have my notes backwards here, 5 to 20 subcontractors with 20 to 30 employees coming on board. Q&D will be here in April, I think they said, 60 to 100 employees. And Silver Lion Farms out in North toward Loggies, they need 100 employees next year. Not to mention that the prison, they're short 60 correctional officers, but there's no place for them to live, 60 of them. Makes that a pretty scary place out there. And so I look at that, and what I would say that if you wanted to do this or come up there, if you were a mobile homeowner, you would come in and say, okay, here's my covenants, and if you were to come in, you have to have proof that you work for a contractor, whether it's one of these projects, and you will be allowed to stay in that trailer park. And you have to adhere to the manager of the mobile home park. He is the one that will come in, learn his covenant, say, you're not following it, whatever day, 10 days notice, 2 minutes notice, whatever, you're gonna have to leave. But we need to do something to fill if there's an open area in a trailer park, let's capitalize and get these people here, let's get them all working here, they'll buy locally, instead of, everybody's worked in mining, I did 27 years, to drive 80 miles to work every day, one way, we all done it. And don't think that they won't drive from Eureka, from McGill, from Lund, Baker, they will make the trip. And there's not a lot of mobile home parks in this town, but maybe there are some that are interested in this, so that's why I brought this up for discussion. So that's
Councilman Walworth, may I ask you, is this more or less a temporary fix for the time being, or is this something permanent?
Well, Ernie, this is just during, for example, let's say Q&D was going to be here for 2 years, they would be for 2 years. It's only during the construction phase that those employees work for it. Hopefully, in the meantime, in the background, we can get some kind of housing in here, whether it's going to be single dwellings, trailer parks, or mobile home parks, I should say. But we got to do something. It's just during the construction phase of each of these projects.
Now, we're not also addressing the fact that an empty lot somewhere would be available for that purpose?
The way this agenda item was worded, that was brought up in the City Planning Commission, Ernie. That was the way it was agended. We have to talk strictly about mobile home parks.
Thank you.
I agree. I think we need to be looking at options to house these kind of workers that are coming in. And I think it's a productive discussion to have. And I think we should involve our building official and everybody else, and maybe have a meeting with some stakeholders. I know there's so many mobile home parks around town, and maybe talking about what would work best for them or what they'd be willing or not willing to do. I think part of this, though, is if they're going to have RVs there, they need to bring those connections up to code for RVs, if they're going to do that for that amount of time. But that's my 2 cents on that.
I totally agree with you too, Jim. It's going to be a problem, but I believe that anything that's time that some said it is a good deal, especially for the city at this time. I totally agree with you. Be happy to work.
Okay. Any other discussion from the council on this? Seeing none, we will move on to item 12, items for discussion, possible action only of the Ely City Council, the consent agenda. We have no minutes to approve, so it's just the bills. Does anybody have any questions on the bills?
Mr. Mayor, I met with City Treasurer this morning, discussed my questions on the bill, and I find them all to be in order and acceptable.
Would you make a motion to that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. B, new business. 1, Mayor Robertson, Mary Kerner, discussion for possible action. Approval of proclamation declaring the week of October 20th through to the 26th, 2019, Red Ribbon Week. Say that 5 times fast. In the city of Ely.
Good evening. Thank you for putting me on your agenda. I'm joined with Jan Southworth. She's on our Red Ribbon Week committee. And this is our 4th year doing this in White Pine County. So you have a copy of the proclamation, I believe. If not, I have 2.
We do have copies.
Oh, okay. Just so I can get one too. So she'll give that to you as well. So Red Ribbon Week is always sponsored by the Ely Elks Lodge, and we have a guest speaker coming in. Her name is Alexa Glazer. She wrote this book, Living the Dream, and has some personal experience that she will be talking about to our middle school and high school students here in the county. And we share her with Eureka County, so the PACE Coalition paid a $5,000 fee, and Ely Elks Lodge split the remaining $1,000 fee with Eureka County to bring her in. And the week of October 20th is Red Ribbon Week here in White Pine County. Her presentations will be in the schools on October the 24th. We have, the theme this year is Send a Message, Stay Drug-Free. I made a couple of copies of that so you guys can see the logo for this year. Sponsored by the National Family Partnership. We're going to have a business/community competition where all those details will be outlined in the newspaper coming up in the next week or so. And this is something that we have done to help raise awareness for the importance of illegal drugs in our communities, and those conversations are really important to have. Children of parents who talk to their teens regularly about drugs are 42% less likely to use drugs than those who don't, yet only a quarter of teens report having had those conversations. So it's not just falling on parents, it takes a village, and so we want community members to get involved as well. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Kerner? With that, I'll entertain a motion on this proclamation.
I so move.
Move to approve.
Ernie Beachhead, do you want to second it?
I'll second it.
Perfect. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Carried and so ordered.
Thank you. Would it be appropriate to take a picture with you guys standing there holding the proclamation?
Sure.
Please.
Do I, Jennifer, do I need to read this into the, is that how it's working?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll read it real quick and then we can do that.
Please.
Proclamation of the City of Ely. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse in this nation has reached epidemic stages, and whereas it is imperative that visible, unified prevention education efforts by community members be launched to eliminate the demand for drugs, and whereas working collaboratively represents a key opportunity for communities to create significant, sustainable improvements in health and equity outcomes, and whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles, no use of illegal drugs, no illegal use of legal drugs, and whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign will be celebrated in every community in America during Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through the 31st, and whereas business, government, parents, law enforcement, media, medical institutions, religious institutions, schools, senior citizens, service organizations, and youth will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during this week-long campaign. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the City of Ely does hereby proclaim October 20th through the 26th of 2019 as Red Ribbon Week, and encourages its citizens to participate in drug prevention education activities, not only during Red Ribbon Week, but all year long, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to a drug-free community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I should also mention our partners are the Sheriff's Office, Nevada Highway Patrol,
Nevada Division of Investigation. And so, excuse me, our guest speaker will do middle school and high school students. The Sheriff's Office with NDI goes in and addresses classrooms of the younger elementary school students as well. So. So, do you want to call that side? We're going to come over. Get us all? Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Item 2, Mayor Robertson, City Clerk Lee, discussion for possible action, approval to move the November and December 2019 City Council, Municipal Utility Board, and City Planning Commission meetings to November 7th, 21st, and December 5th and 19th due to the Northeastern Nevada Regional Development Authority Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Workshop in Ely on November 14th, 2019, and the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. We thought we'd just get out in front of this, so I will entertain a motion on this.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Any comments on this or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Item 3, Mayor, City Council members, City Clerk Lee, discussion for possible action, approval to add 1 City Council member on the signature cards for the city's accounts at First National Bank of Ely due to the resignation of former Ely City Council member Sam Hansen. Would you like to explain this, Jennifer? I think it's pretty explanatory.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's already on?
Councilman Allworth, yourself, and myself.
Okay. Does the council have a motion for who else they'd like on that?
I'll move to nominate Michelle Beecher for it.
It would be handy to have the mayor pro tem on that. I agree. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion on this item? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Item 4, Councilman Flangus, Public Works Supervisor Craycraft. Discussion for possible action, approval to expend up to $12,000 from account 30-40-700 capital outlay in the capital project fund to repair the roof on the Broadbent Park restrooms. Mike, do you have some explanations for us?
Yes, our concession stand up at the old football field is in pretty dire need. It's leaking terribly, and so we got to make a decision to start repairing. I'd like to do it in 3 phases. The roof, which it's a disaster, it's leaking inside there. Then go towards the bathrooms, and the concession, and put concrete around it, make it more user-friendly out there. We have many events out there that we have no restrooms. So, but if we do not fix our roof, then we might as well just tip it over because it's leaking badly. As I've taken Jim, Kurt, and Ernie up there today and showed them around. So
At different times.
at different times, yeah. No, yes.
So, any questions for Mike or Councilman Flangus on the side?
Yes, I reviewed the whole affair and whatnot, and as we were looking at the situation that we have there, that building, if we don't do something with the roof, is going to become totally unrepairable. I think now if we start with the roof and maintain and change things around and make it more equitable to our park so it can be used for many functions that do happen there, I think would be a very benefit to the citizens of the city of Ely and White Pine County and whoever visits our community. So, Main start, we have, Mike and I have talked about 3 different phases over a period of time. But the main one is getting the roof repaired first. And I'd like to have the support of the council for this item. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion on the side.
I like that one.
If we could have a second, then we could have discussion. Okay. Discussion on the item.
Yeah, I also toured this facility with Mike, and at one time it was a really nice concession stand over time in Broadbent Park. quit being used for the high school football game, you know, sort of deteriorated away. There needs to be some demolition around the building of the old